And now we're talking. Save settings. Boom, fixed. We're doing it. Things are happening and we are live. Okay. Interlude. For anyone who doesn't know, this is a budget series, using quotes, for the upcoming patch for Arena. The reason being, there's a wipe, so we're all going to be losing all our cards, all our gold, all our wild cards, everything, starting with new cards. And then we're going to be getting the amonkhet cards. The important thing to consider for that is you don't want to be like me and waste all your wild cards on cards that won't end up bettering specific decks that become tier 1. Obviously, you want to have fun and stuff, everything, but I think it's good just to have an idea of where you're going so that you know what you're building towards, because you don't want to end up behind when everyone else has tier 1 decks and you're like, have like 3 tier 3 decks. Usually what I like to do is I have one deck for grinding and then a bunch of other brews for fun and for turning into other decks. What is happening? I have tape on my pants. So this series is meant to give you decks. What budget means is that it's only common or uncommon cards, so that you can save all your very valuable rares. You'll notice a lot of the tier 1 decks have like anywhere between 16 to 26 rares, especially considering the mana base. Don't even get me started. So I want to give people these decks that honestly I think could put up some good numbers, at least 50% win rate, at least, without breaking the bank. Because there was a building on the budget series on Wizards. I forgot. Caleb, do you remember who wrote that series? Because you showed me that, and that was a really good series. So I wanted to give something kind of like that. This is the deck I can get behind. Oh, goodness, no. But this is the type of series that I was taking inspiration from to do this. So this is a list of amonkhet cards. I also have, on Aether Hub, I have a list on there that you can just import directly into Arena once Arena's live again. So this is what we're looking at. So here's the explanations. This is a deck that was already pretty good in the Ixalan block Arena meta, but it's going to get a few additions that'll make it better, I believe. And Caleb over here likes this deck, which is how you know it's terrible. He's a spike if I've ever seen one. Anyway, it's pretty much just making your creatures unblockable, and then you just race your opponent while protecting them. Squire's Devotion makes it really good for that, but we'll get into all the details. The overview is you have unblockable, hard to kill creatures, and then you just keep swinging, turn them sideways till you win. Don't remember who wrote those also. Dang it. Bummer. We'll look it up another time. I think the total of uncommons for this deck is 10. Let's see, 2 Supreme Will, 4 Vanguards, that's 6. Negate's a common, this is a common. 3 Storm Tamer and Sheltering Light is 10. Everything else, Curious Obsession, okay. So that's 14. Field of Ruin isn't a must, but if you want that, it's 16. Okay, so it's 14. You could even cut Vanguard for more cartouche analogies or something, if you want. Or Supreme Will for more negates. And you could get it easily down to like 10 uncommons, which is completely doable. Also, it's only 2 colors, so the mana base is super good. Pretty much, let me take you through each card. Curious Obsession, right? This is the lifeblood of the deck. It lets you draw into, turn 1, Mystical Herald, unblockable. Turn 2, Curious Obsession. You're just drawing cards out the wazoo. Lets you get more threats. Lets you get more protection, more importantly. So you don't run out of protection. That's really important. Also, the +1/+1 is important as well. Just lets you double your clock with all these 1/1s. So that's amazing. We're down to clown with that. So I would first get the Curious Obsessions, to be honest. The uncommons, first things I would get is Curious Obsession, and the commons would probably be, well, I guess the creatures. Once you have the creatures, it'd probably be Dive Down, because that's the most mana efficient way to protect your creatures. Even in combat too, because it gets them +0, +3. Dive Down is pretty much just a much cheaper negate. It's important mainly for all the exile spells that are going to be running on. Baffling End's going to be a big deal. It's one with the wind necessary since everything is unblockable or flying anyway. It's mainly just important for the +2/+2, and then it jives really well with the Adato Vanguard. So there's not a lot of other auras that can increase your clock as quickly while also being really good for Vanguard for 2 mana, and it's a common. So those are all the reasons for that. But yeah. So it is a little bit, sometimes we play it on a Slitherblade, you feel kind of silly, but it just increases your damage so much that it's totally worth it. 100% worth it. We also had shout out to Ninjo. Let's give an actual shout out. he was playing something somewhat similar. That isn't... I got this idea more from... I mean, I played around with it a little bit in Arena, but there was someone in the Aether Hub deck lists who had something like this. That's more what I got from. His was more of a Vampire Ascend type build. This is more of just like a straight unblockable build. But Ninja did have a cool deck like this. He said he went 10-0 with it, so do with that what you will. Ninja has crazy luck. We all know Ninja luck is a thing. Did you ever see the Ornithopter and Soul Artifact deck like a year or two ago? Reminds me of this. Yeah, except we don't have the Fling. Well, they had a better Fling. But yeah, that was crazy. That was in the finals of the Pro Tour against Yoel Larson. I remember that. Yeah, I knew you'd like that deck, Caleb. I remember when Soul Artifact was broken in draft or pre-releases, any sort of limited format. That was hilarious, though. So we also got, what is that? It was like their version of Goblin Grenade. I don't remember what that was. But anyway, getting back to it. You got 4 Mistcloak Herald to 1/1 unblockable for 1. That's a good rate. That's all you need. The lifeblood. 3 Siren Storm Tamer. He's important because he can do both. He can pull double duty. He can either be a creature that's pseudo unblockable, you know, a 1-drop flyer they're not going to be able to deal with for a while. That can also protect your other creatures. So you have other creatures with auras on them, you just leave him as a 1/1 beater that can protect them. Think of him as a dive down. Or if he's your only threat, then you just start piling stuff on him and hope that you have, you know, a Supreme Will, Negate, Sheltering Light, or dive down to protect him. Sheltering Light, it's kind of a fun of. I didn't get to test. I didn't have this card, so I didn't get to test with it. But the guy who made the deck on Aether Hub swore by it. So it's kind of a fun of. The one problem with Siren Storm Tamer is that he's a little bit more mana intensive than dive down and stuff, because he technically does take a completely 2 mana. But it feels kind of bad when you get an aura on him and you want to sacrifice him to protect someone else. So Sheltering Light is just another dive down. It's less mana intensive than Negate or something. But we'd rather have dive down for all those exile effects again. Slitherblade is just a better Mistcloak Herald, because we're not relying on the merfolk tribal going on right now. And he's a 1/2, which makes him better. I don't know, there's a lot of Riles and stuff. There's Tillinelli's Crown actually saw some play. So all the 1 damage stuff, I mean, it doesn't come up a lot, but when it comes up, you're like, oh, that's good. But he's just another 1-drop unblockable. Next, you got a Danto Vanguard. He's important because he's a much better target for Squire's Devotion, meaning that he'll gain you more life for when you need to race. Whereas with these guys, you played on them, they're just 2/2s. Getting 2 life return isn't always enough. But with him getting 4 life return, he pays for himself, first of all, if they have creatures. And then if they don't have creatures, then you're just gaining 4 life return. What's my points? Monies! It's the monies command there, Spatula. We like our monies around here. We're some Invader Zimfolk going on. So yeah, a Vanguard does a lot more damage. I mean, you play one with the wind on him, you're swinging for the fences. 5 damage a turn? Whew, buddy, you're broke. Yeah, sorry, dude. It's based on watch time and all the heist and sort of stuff, so we didn't have the currency when you were around a little bit more. And I'll heist with you. Next we got Cartouche of Knowledge. We need just a little bit more card advantage. We got Supreme Will, Cartouche, and Curious Obsession. 8 is usually the number you want for something that an effect that you want to see every single game. So that's 9 card draw spells. So that is awesome. And it gives them flying, which is good for Vanguard. And it cantrips. What more could you want, right? Beautiful. 1 Negate. I think it's a debate between Negate and Supreme Will, depending on the meta. I kind of hedged with Supreme Will because it's a lot better in more decks. So if you swap for it, it'll work in, blue-white approach or blue-black control, Grixis control, Jeskai, anything like that. So, if they're playing a deck that doesn't have a lot of removal, you just fetch for another aura to win the race or another creature to put an aura on. Yeah, or if they have enough mana, you could do this to fetch for a dive down or something. If you get real desperate. But yeah, I would plan the Negate or Supreme Will based on the meta. That's all I'd say about that. Next, we got 1 with the Wind. This is just important because it gives your Vanguard 2 evasion and 2 power is such a good rate. You're going to run 4. It's just undeniable. That's why you don't really care about the flying and unblockable being kind of a little bit overlapping. But yes, I have 0 hours. Well, it only does based on Spatula. It does it based on, so I'm sure you have like 30 minutes right now, you know? So it only goes based on the whole integers. And I know you were here like a few months ago, but I only made the currency like 2 months ago because I'm a pleb. Maybe a month ago. So I'm sorry. Here, I'll give you some monies. How about that? We'll do that. If I can find you. This thing has not been working for me lately. Can I go by name? Thank you. Based on what I think, it was probably like 100. I don't know, man. There, you made out like a band on that one, Spatula too. There you go. I seriously don't care. I know, I feel bad. It's the morality. It's the morality of Fishing. I feel like you can play fewer lands, maybe. Yeah, here's the thing though. So we got 22 lands. Caleb's hopping around. I can't get into it because the NDA is working right now, but in games of one, Arena uses a different shuffler that skews the lands based on, I'll say it like this. 22 lands is what you need to make sure you hit 2 lands in your opening hand, and 26 is what you need to make sure you hit 3. And we need 2 lands. So 22 lands is what we're going to want to run, unfortunately. Otherwise, you could probably get away with 21, maybe 20. But right now, you don't want 1 land hand in your opener all the time. Shufflers and random, no. I can't get into the specifics, but based on how it is, there's like peaks for exactly, say that again. So I can't get into specifically how they calculate it or what they do for it because it's under NDA, but if you want 2 lands in your opening hand, you want to run 22 lands. If you want 3 lands in your opening hand, you run 26. Yeah, shuffler, okay, the shuffler's random, but the way they interact with the shuffler. I don't want to get too specific because of NDA, but just for best of 1, to try to make, you know, so you get mana screwed a little less, they had a new way of deciding what your opening hand is, I will say. Yeah, so in a week I'll be able to tell you guys exactly what it does, but right now because of NDA, just take my word for this. Shard actually did a whole ton of calculations for it. Pretty much, your chances of getting a 2-land hand increases like... Yeah, I guess we can't get into the specifics. That's not MTG. Yeah, I know. I know, Spatula. So yeah, we can explain it a little bit better. It's kind of replicates duels in a worse way. The way they handled it, 0 out of 10. Yeah, so that's a quick break from the deck tech to explain that. But yeah, so 22 lands is what we're going to run right now. You're going to honestly have to make different decks for best of 3, or if they fix it. There's been a lot of people complaining about it because they should. So 22 land is what we're running. Sorry, guys. But yeah, basically just saying to go from 21 to 22, it increases your percentage points of getting 2 lands over 1 land by like a large margin. Come back in a week. Yep, that's what we'll do. Yeah, so One with the Wind, getting back to that, Shard the hero. One with the Wind is just a good beater and good evasion. It's just the best bang for your buck that you can get right now. Squire's Devotion, super good. That lifelink is important for racing, and it gets you another creature that you can put auras on if you're running low on threats. I don't know what more I can say. Run 4 of it. It's good. With the Danto Vanguard, it pays for itself. I don't know more to tell you. Plus, enraged creatures are probably going to be crowded out of the format with all the new cards. Dinos aren't going to be thin anymore. Thank goodness. Hyunyan, what? Welcome, Hyunyan. How you doing, bro? Good to have you. I don't want to wait a week. I require instant gratification. Oh, man. All right, friendly. I mean, if Wizards gets you in, I can point you directly to the forums, and that'll let you know. I know you're playing, though, but yeah, for sure. And then Supreme Will, the last card. It lets you counter spells. It's like a dive down, or it can act as a cartouche knowledge, you know? It's pretty much, it's whatever you need it to be, and it's beautiful, and you can splash it in so many decks, you'll never feel bad getting it. I love it. This card's amazing. That's all I'm saying. The other card draw that you might want, that I like personally, but it's not instant speed, is Secrets. The only thing I'll say for this deck is it's bad because you'll obviously tap out. The double blue can be a little rough for you. But you can get Ascend pretty easy with Squire's Devotion. That'll help a lot. all your auras and all your creatures. Sure. I think Supreme Will is better in more places. Secrets could be better in certain control decks. That's all I'll say. Now we got the sideboard, right? These are cards just for you to consider once you get to the rare and mythic slot. Adorned Pouncer. You could take this deck two different ways. If you want to go the Ascend route, there was I think it was Jim Davis who ran a blue-white auras deck in Standard. And he ran Adorned Pouncer and Sacred Cat as a more recursive way of having threats rather than having all the dive downs and all that. And then you could just go more cartouche heavy with Cartouche of Solidarity and Cartouche Knowledge, Squire's Devotion, things like that that'll just get you Ascend really quickly, and then play things like, I guess you could even go Snubhorn, I don't know. I don't remember exactly what his deck was, but there's a more Ascend heavy deck that you could run with those. Just some thoughts. Failure to Comply, I saw him running in the sideboard, I think. I don't agree with it. I haven't been able to test it, but are they adding what a Burman? Welcome. Guys, check it out. I can try out this new welcome command. You ready? Boom. So good. They are adding Amonkhet confirmed next week, Berman. On the 22nd in the morning, they're having a patch. Once that patch is done, Amonkhet block is going to be in here, and the NDA is going to be lifted, so I'm going to be able to start streaming it. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, super cool. So yeah, so we're doing deck techs. They're also going to wipe all the cards. So I'm trying, what this is I'm trying to just get more of like a budget approach. So you have decks that you can go to without spending all your rares. So this is common and uncommon only. That's what we're doing around here, Berman. So yeah, feel free to ask any more questions if you'd like, but we're here to serve. Well, me personally, I don't know about chat, but you know. So yeah, next one is Searcher's Kanta. This is good in all control decks, so you won't feel bad getting it, but this wouldn't impress me too much. I've seen it run in Murpho decks similar to this, and this type of deck. It'll let you get your protection and your auras. Don't ask about Arena Shuffle tech. Yeah, Spatula. Spatula's a little sad about that. I'm glad for the wipe because I fell behind. Yeah, there's a lot of people getting in just now because they realized that they were passed over in priority queue, so it's good. Yeah, there's a lot of people running like tier 1 Merfolk decks, and you're coming in with like 6 rares, and you're like, well, I hope this works. So yeah, for sure. I think they understand that too. Plus Dominaria is coming in soon. I don't know if they'll do a wipe for that or not, but they said it's supposed to be coming pretty soon to the actual set release. So I'm pumped for that. Just without getting into spoilers, Jeskai is going to be a thing, and I'm going to make it. Just putting that out there. So yeah, Searcher's Kanta is a good way for you to just get all your other threats and stuff. The thing is, I think it's hard for you to get 7 permanents in the graveyard. You know, you don't have any fetch lands. You're probably only hoping to cast 2 dive downs or something. So I don't really like it, but other people have sworn by it. So just something to consider. Settle the Wreckage is great because you get to a point where they just have to race you. And with Squire's Devotion, they're not going to be able to just help themselves but tap out. So instead of like Supreme Will or even a Squire's Devotion, I guess, you could consider running Settle the Wreckage. I remember I got blown out. I was running I hate to admit it, I was running a form of dinos, and I was racing this deck, and I was supposed to either just swing out and win for the 10 damage, or he was going to kill me on the crackback, and I had no removal, and they were unblockable. So I just swing out, and they settled me, and I'm like, sure, you got it. Blue Enchantments was my best deck. I have tier 2 Merfolk. Ooh, yeah. Merfolk is like this. It's like exponentially better. It's like really bad, and then you hit like the Kubendas and everything, and you're like, amazing. But yeah, Blue-White Enchantments is pretty good. It's kind of like duels, you know, where Red-White Enchantments was the best deck to grind with from the start. So yeah, Settle the Wreckage is a bomb. Running 2 of is definitely something I'd say is good. Don't deserve the dinos, Yuji. Kenyon, how dare you? My Junt Dinos is the best thing the world's ever seen. I run Journey in my dinos. You're not a real dinos player unless you play Journey. Next is Slippery Scoundrel. He'd be better for the more Ascend heavy one. He starts out as a 2/2, which is good, and he can be unblockable and hexproof, so he protects himself. He's better for the more Ascend route with the Sacred Cats and Adorned Pouncers. So, like I said, you can take this one of 2 ways. Either go super Ascend and creature heavy, or cutting most of like the dive downs and negates and stuff, or more for the control-y, like Settle the Wreckage, Search for Kanta, Supreme Wills type route. So yeah, those are the 2 ways I consider this deck. It could definitely put you in some great wins. Some early wins without anything. I don't want to hear anything else, la la la. Oh my gosh, Union. You're evil. Again, Feel the Ruin is 2 uncommons you can easily cut. It's just a way to interact with opposing Search for Kantas or anything like that, you know? You're going to see a lot of those. It's just a good card to have anyway, so you're not going to feel bad trading it in, because you're going to be running that in pretty much any of your 2-color decks, and even some of your 3-color decks. So yeah, that's the deck tech. What you guys think? Spatosaurus, best dino NA. What is Spat?